Morning everybody, and this is going to be yet another super quick morning tarot. I've just done this video and I was actually really happy with how it went and relaxed with loads of time, and I went to upload it and I had no sound. No idea why. I hadn't changed any settings. I had to uninstall my webcam software, go to the website, reinstall it all, check it and test it, and now I'm going to have to kind of rush through it, but I'm determined I'm going to do my morning tarot. So here we go. It's the cups, and I'm finishing off the suit cups today with the King, Queen and Ace. Alright, here we are. So the King of Cups. I'm going to move this way a bit so you can see me. Okay. The suit of cups being the suit of emotion, being the suit of emotional energy and kind of emotional understanding and emotional intuition, means that I think all of the characters represented by the court cards are people who feel emotion very strongly. Particularly the King of Cups I associate with the star sign Cancer, the crab. So the idea of somebody who is very, very soft on the inside and can be easily hurt, who feels emotions and feels their kind of inner feelings very, very deeply indeed. And I think this is a figure and a character who actually has those really deep emotional feelings and is actually very sensitive. He's a very sensitive person. When I look at this card, I always think of a fatherly figure, and the reason for this is because it reminds me very much of my own father. My father is a very gentle, very sweet, very loving, unassuming man. He's calm, he's supportive, and he's emotional, and he's sensitive, and he's intuitive, and he's real kind of like a supportive, lovely dad. And I think of that every time I see this card. And my little tip, actually, for anybody who wants to sort of learn more about the court cards, because the court cards are often ones that people struggle with more than some of the others to understand the different characteristics and the different personalities, is research a little bit about the card and think about what it means to you as well. And then try and think of somebody in your life who actually is very similar in their energy to the energy of that card, so that you can kind of connect that energy, so that you can understand it better. And that really helps, especially I think when you're setting off to get in tune with the energies of the personalities that are represented by the court cards in all the suits. Now, looking at the actual imagery in this card, he is on a sort of a solid stone throne here. So he's coming from a solid place. He's got a kind of a solidity about him. He's got a shell, almost, if you were. But he's actually floating on quite choppy waters, quite choppy seas. So this, for me, has a double meaning. The first meaning is it's representing the inside, because this is somebody who does have those very deep, very strong, deep-seated emotions, who feels things very, very deeply. You know, it's a kind of a still waters run deep sort of idea. So even if they may seem very calm on the outside, and they may seem quite quiet and quite unassuming, beneath the surface is often an awful lot of emotion, and there's a huge amount of sensitivity that goes on. It also represents, on an external level, a kind of character who is able to sort of be calm in a crisis, no matter what is going on around them or how difficult things are. This person isn't going to jump forward. They don't react with anger, and they don't react with kind of a negative emotion, or they're not really people who are going to jump in and take a strong action or make a strong reaction to something. They are much more likely to have a calmer approach and a quieter approach. These kind of people don't really like conflict. You know, they prefer to sort of float above the sea of conflict rather than get involved in it. And this makes them a good person for advice, a good person to be around if you need that sense of calm, you need that sense of peace that someone can bring. But also they can be frustrating, because it can seem like a lack of activity. So if you're looking for someone to go charging in, or to really take action or take the lead in a situation, it's not likely to be the character represented by the King of Cups who's going to do that. They're not kind of an action-taking strong leader sort of personality, but they are the sort of person who brings that energy of calm with them. And you can't really see very well because the glare is coming off my light here, but there's a tiny fish in the corner as well, which I think ties this card, if you remember back to the Page of Cups, who is that very kind of gentle, sensitive, emotional dreamer who lives in their own world with that slight eccentricity. And I think this is like an older version of that energy, or it's kind of like that energy moved forward, sort of taken into a different sort of level. Oh, I feel like I'm having to rush this now. Alright. Okay, the Queen of Cups. For some reason the light is really bouncing off these today. The Queen of Cups, again, connected with water, connected with emotion, connected with that kind of emotional energy. She's wearing a cloak that actually kind of represents the water. You know, she's actually cloaked in water. And the thing that is the most remarkable about this card is that of all the suit of cups, of all the cards that you've seen there, this is the only card that has a cup that has been customized and personalized. The Queen of Cups has her very own cup. She has made it herself. It's something that is full of her unique energy. It's really personal to her, and it's very different. And she's holding this cup, gazing at it in this loving way, as though she's fascinated by it, though she does love it so much. So it could be a child, or it could be a friend, or it could be a lover. Now the Queen of Cups, I think, talks about that emotional energy, on where the King of Cups brings out the calmness and feels the deep feelings underneath. The Queen of Cups is a card that talks about emotional intuition. It's about getting in touch with your own feelings and your own self. It's somebody who is very empathetic, who can understand other people's feelings, who can pick up on people's emotions, and who has a really kind of emotional intelligence and an understanding of the emotional state and the emotional self. And because of that, she's actually customized her cup, the cup that represents emotion, the cup that represents love, because she has sort of mastered it. She's able to understand it, and she has a perspective on it that is different from everybody else. This is quite a kind of a complex and deep understanding of human emotion and of the intuition. I think that one of the important things to remember when you're looking at this card, and when this card comes up in a spread, is that it is talking about love, but it's obviously really talking about self-love. The cup represents her, and she has made it her own. She accepts, she focuses on the cup, and it's an idea of self-acceptance, about loving yourself, understanding yourself, learning about yourself, learning about what you like and what you don't like, learning who you are. And above all, I think the message that comes with this card is the idea that we have to learn self-love, that what we really need to do is we need to understand who we are on the inside, understand what motivates us, understand our own emotions and feelings, and really love ourselves. I think of one of my colleagues was talking about a friend of hers just last week who has like a date with herself twice a month, where she just spends an evening or an afternoon, she goes and does something lovely, she cuts off on computers and phones and everything like that, and really spends quality time with herself, just to remember to connect with who she is. And it's a great idea. The only slight tendency that may come with the Queen of Cups is that you could be looking at somebody who could become too focused, they become introverted, or they become a bit introspective, or they might kind of shut the world around them out a little bit, because they can become kind of so deeply immersed in their inner self and in their inner world and in their inner journey. So though that's an amazing thing to do, and you really need to learn to love and to get in touch with ourselves and to trust our intuition, at the same time we do have to remember that there is an external world, so be careful not to let that tendency go too far in that direction either. Final card for today, I've got 3 minutes before I need to go to work, I think I'm going to be a little bit late, is the Ace of Cups. Now all the aces are just wonderful, wonderful cards to get in the spread. I said this before when we looked at the Ace of Swords, they're kind of like gifts almost from the gods. Every time you see a cup, you think of emotion, you think of love, and this cup is literally overflowing. I see this card in the spread and I think your cup is overflowing. There is so much joy, there is so much abundance, and because it's emotional, it's really connected with like kind of the overflowing cup of love and friendship and just all those wonderful, wonderful things that we associate with the suit of cups, kind of really amplified and magnified. It's also a card that shows great good fortune in the area of inner peace and inner balance. You have the white dove representing peace, carrying this symbol of balance of the elements of the 4 directions, all kind of equally balanced together. So it's peace, it's balance, and it's love. And it's just something that's coming into your life, and it has this kind of beautiful fountain feeling, like the kind of fount of love. So whenever you see this card at any of the aces in a spread, you're looking at something that's significant, something that's important, something that can't really be taken away, that's going to happen. And I don't think there's ever really a negative reading for any of the ace cards. So if you see this card in a spread, the emotional cup is overflowing and really good things are sure to follow. I so hope that the sound is recorded this time on this video, and I'm sorry I've had to rush it a little bit at the end, but you all have a lovely day and I will see you soon. Bye bye.